The recent referendum in Sudan was a success by not just by the conclusions of the European Union election observation mission, by all of the observation missions that were there, including domestic observers. It was a particularly unique situation, however, given that referenda on independence do not happen very often in the world. This was just the fourth in the last 15 years and the second in Africa the first in Africa since 1993, when Eritrea had their referendum on independence. So you expect different things in an independence referendum. You expect an extremely high turnout of people, for example, that may not always vote in an election or be interested to vote in an election. And you do expect, in both Eritrea's case and in Sudan's case, an extremely high proportion of the population voting for one particular option, in this case, the decision to secede from Sudan. What we can learn from a process like that, however, is noting how the local electoral bodies organise that process. You can anticipate how the first multi-party elections that will take place once Southern Sudan becomes an independent country in July, you can anticipate some of the issues that will arise then, and these would include having to keep a close eye on things surrounding the turnout of voters, whether voters are under any pressure to both register and to actually vote, the issue of processing of results, how they are processed and how the management of the results announcement takes place. These are some of the lessons, I think donors can learn. The big thing to always keep in mind when it comes to international support for elections is that elections are political events, and the support that the United Nations and the European Union provide is technical support. So we're often providing technical support for political problems. And that does not always fit well together. We expect our technical support will solve political problems, when in fact it is politics solves political problems. It's official policy now, both the European Union and the United Nations, to favour what's called an electoral cycle approach, where a lot of the support that you provide is not just around the time of elections, but in the interim period when more substantial training and capacity building can take place. This is the idea. In practice, however, sometimes there's lots of demands on both the EU and the UN to provide assistance to other countries that are approaching elections. And often we find, unfortunately, that the very best advisors are in very, very high demand to work on specific elections rather than on an electoral process over a period of years. So there is always going to be, unfortunately, a high turnover among staff, foreign advisors that are there to provide electoral assistance. This is a perennial problem, and I'm not sure what the answer is. I also totally understand that a lot of the work you can do on capacity building and training of electoral officials takes place in the period when elections do not take place, and that is a time when the demands on donors are for other sectors as well. I mean, I think a lot of donors would agree that do we prioritise training an electoral management body for an election, the next election that will take place in 3 years, or will we build a hospital today? I mean, these are constant pressures on donors. This is part of our everyday, our job, and these are problems we're trying to overcome all the time.